Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. I am in the beautiful city of Tirana, Albania. I have arrived. I've been here a little bit over a month and I want to talk about it. I want to do a check-in and talk about my experience here, how much I'm loving it, and I want to answer a few questions as well. I decided to do this while I was at this park today. I will put the name of the park right here. I don't know exactly how to pronounce it or anything. So we caught the bus here. Cost 40 lek to catch the bus, by the way. And we caught the bus here to the park. And I figured I would try to find a spot to record a video. There's someone playing the violin. I don't know if you can hear that. I have my microphone on, so I'm not sure how much of the sound is picking up. But someone's playing the violin right by me, which is really cool. But yeah, I want to talk about my experience here so far. I really struggle recording in public, but I am in a nice little secluded area, which makes it really helpful because I'm just on this little piece of concrete and I'm just here by myself. But I'm going to try to do the best I can here right now. I tried to find another spot, but I couldn't really find another spot. There's a lot of benches, but there's no spaces where you can set your camera up and talk. So this was the best thing I could find. Good thing I brought my tripod because I have that set up. I may have to do some of this here and do the rest of it when I get back home. But so far, I love this place. I love it. I love the people. I love the culture. I love how I feel physically since I've been living here. I walk every day. I get plenty of exercise, plenty of sun, plenty of vitamin D. I've lost at least 10 pounds. I think a little bit more. So yeah, I definitely contribute that to walking every day and also eating food that doesn't have a bunch of gook in it. I shop at the markets for my produce and things like that. A lot of the foods here, you're not going to find foods here that have corn syrup and all that other stuff in it. A lot of the sugary drinks and sugary snacks or whatever don't contain a lot of the things that we have in the US, which is a given. I think everyone knows that the US is trying to poison us. So as far as how I feel here, the things that I love the most about it, I've kind of discussed. There's some things that are like I'm still trying to get used to and I really struggle with. And one of them is when you're out walking and it's really, really hot here. It's been in the hundreds. So it's really, really hot here. You're out walking or whatever and you're out and about and you're hot, you're sweating. And a lot of times in the States, when you're out and you're hot, when you go into a building or to a restaurant or into a coffee shop or whatever, usually the air is blasting. So it's like a relief, an immediate relief. Not here. You walk into some of these places and it's just as hot as it is outside almost. They don't run their AC like that. They run it, but they don't run it like that. And I understand they want to keep the cost down, energy down, things like that. They don't run things unnecessarily, period, when it comes to the electricity, air conditioning, water, any of that stuff. They don't run things unnecessarily like we do. It really is something that, it may seem small, but it's something that you have to get used to. And I think over time, I still struggle with it a little bit, but I also, at this point, I know what to expect. So when I go into a restaurant or something like that from walking outside, I'm not that surprised that it's not cool. The other thing that really grinds my gears is the addresses. We don't really have an address. You have a street. You don't really have an address. I'm still trying to figure that part out. So getting mail and getting deliveries is really a struggle. Not a struggle, it's not that big of a deal, but it's not as easy as just going to your mailbox and grabbing something out of the mail or going to your doorstep and grabbing something out off your doorstep. It's not that simple. That's something that I'm struggling to get used to. See. And just like the process of doing things, when we pay our rent, we have to send it by wire. When we pay our utilities, we have to go to the Western Union and pay, or a post office and pay. We're so used to doing things like just online. You just go online, you pay your rent, get online, pay your bills, set up auto pay, things like that. That's not how things work here. So the convenience of things doesn't really exist, but I think that it makes people have relationships with humans. You know what I mean? You have to go and pay your bills. You have to go and do things. Everything's not at your fingertips. So it kind of forces you to have some type of relationship with people, to talk to people, to actually be face to face with someone. Also the stairs right now. There's an old man staring at me, trying to figure out what the fuck I'm doing. But it's okay. That's what they do. There's a lot of it here. A lot of stairs. Sometimes it seems a little hostile. And I've gotten to the point where I just stare back. And if I'm in a good mood, I'll smile. And I don't know how many times I've done that and I've got a smile back. They literally smile right back at me. So it's almost like they're trying to gauge you just as much as you're trying to gauge them. So it's just something to get used to. It's a little rough in the first few weeks. You're like, what the fuck? What are you looking at? And it's a little annoying, and you can kind of, get a little irritated by it. But sometimes it's a stare. What the fuck are you doing here? And sometimes it's a stare. They just trying to figure you out. When you smile at them, they're smiling back at you. So I've had a lot of really sweet encounters with some of the elderly ladies here. I had one lady tell me, I was holding my bag and I had one strap down like this. And she was like, put your strap up. She didn't speak any English, but I knew what she was telling me. And she told me to zip it up. So close it up. And she was saying, be careful, basically, watch your stuff, someone will snatch it. And I was like, oh, she's so sweet. She was so cute. And that was a really sweet encounter. And she asked me if I was from Africa. And I think that's another thing. They don't know, when they see black people, they think that we're all African. And that's not always the case. But she asked me and I told her that I was American, and she was really sweet. But I try to talk to them when I can. I'm actually going to start taking language classes. Not this Monday, not tomorrow, not this Monday coming up, but next Monday. So we're doing it as a group. My whole family is going to be doing it as a group. So I'm really looking forward to that. It's going to be really nice because I think it's important that we learn some of the language. The language is ship, if I'm saying that right. So it's really important that we learn some ship, at least to be able to communicate on a day-to-day basis. It's going to make our lives a lot easier, and it's going to make the lives of the people who live here easier to have to deal with someone that doesn't really know their language. So to answer some questions, I think what I'm going to do is maybe do a part 2, and I'll do that at home because I don't have all the questions that were asked of me. So I want to do this part right now, just like my first impressions, a check-in and how I'm feeling about our move to Albania, because I want to try to keep this video a little bit shorter than what I would usually do. I know if I add the questions into, I'm going to ramble on and it's probably going to end up being 20 minutes. So I want to not do that. So I'm going to make a part 2, and that's when I'm going to come in and I'm going to answer questions that people may have. I have quite a few questions that people want answers to, so I want to answer those questions in that part. So stay tuned for that. I'll be recording that when I get back home, because that way I can sit down and look at all the questions and things like that. So this is something I can talk about off the top of my head versus the questions I have to actually look and see what questions I had. I know some of them, but I don't know all of them. So I just want to make sure I'm answering all the questions that I've got, and also some of the other questions and the other things that I think would be important for people to know. But anyway, stay tuned. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't. I really want to grow this channel. I really want to try to monetize this channel, and I will talk more about that in part 2 of this video. So stay tuned for that second part, and I hope I answered any questions as far as how I'm feeling about my experience living in Albania for the little bit over a month that we've been here. But again, I will be answering more questions in part 2. So stay tuned for that, and make sure you watch this one all the way through and watch that one when it comes out. But until next time.